What up, guys? Hope everything is going well. I wanted to do this video regarding a topic that I usually don't dive into, but I've read all about it over the last few years and think it's time to do a video on it. And it's regarding big tech. Big tech is out of control. Big tech just banned Donald Trump or suspended him because of, the comments that he made, a few weeks ago. Whether you agree with him or not, that's not the question, because they claim that he incited the riot. Well, if you look at it last year, did anyone blame anyone on the far left for the riots that happened throughout the United States? There was no talk about it. So there's clearly a double standard, regardless of whether you agree with one side or the other. That doesn't matter. We know there is massive bias. And then some people would be like, hey, who cares? It's a private company. Private companies could technically do whatever they want. And the thing is, sure, they can, but they are being bullied by big government. So that's not the same thing. So we have big government that is bailing out these companies left and right, via the Federal Reserve. And then through the back channels, you see the elite calling the shots. And, other examples, with big tech. You could look at Google. A friend just told me he was listening to a Dave Rubin podcast, I believe. And she was talking about how the NBA does not like, phrases like free Hong Kong in the stadiums. And now Google is removing these type of videos, I believe, from YouTube where it says free Hong Kong. Regardless of whether you agree with the message of freeing Hong Kong, big tech is now calling these shots and taking marching orders from governments. And this is where we're probably going to see more problems down the line in terms of what will and will not be allowed to be said. And people are saying, hey man, you have the First Amendment. Well, yes, but what will happen when we have a social credit score like there is in China? So, right now you don't see that much going on. People on the left and right, they have the ability to open a bank account for the most part, unless they've done some hanky-panky or they've been accused of hanky-panky. I mean, you could, go to the grocery store, you can do a whole lot of things. We still are free compared to many countries around the world. My biggest fear, though, is what they've slowly but steadily been doing. For instance, AIG just canceled former all-star Curt Schilling's insurance. He does not have insurance from AIG anymore. And, you have to remember, AIG was bailed out by big government. So this is the creation of the government. So it's not really the free market, calling the shots. And I'm sure he's going to get insurance from another provider, but it's at the point where we have companies saying, no, we don't want to do business with you, and it's because we don't agree with how you think. And that's becoming a very slippery slope. What if in the future they say, hey, you don't support these wars, you're unpatriotic because you want to vote for a person like Rand Paul or Donald Trump or Donald Trump Jr., you will not get insurance. I don't think it's going to get to the point, but who knows? Things are getting really crazy at this point. And it's a really slippery slope. And because of this big tech censorship, because of the deplatformings, and we also have individuals like Laura Loomer, who is not allowed to use Uber Eats, Uber. She does not have a PayPal account. She had trouble, I believe, with her bank. I think she had Chase at one point, and Chase was threatening to get rid of her. So we have a situation where big companies are collaborating with big government, and it's going to create a scary situation like you see in communist countries. Communist countries, the government just says, just commands and controls all these things. Right now, the neocons, and you could argue the leftists, the mainline leftists, they are using big government to go after the middle class. Now, it's not going to happen all at once, but, it's a scary situation. And already we've seen the government and basically Delta telling a few Trump supporters who were obnoxious that they're on a no-fly list because they attended the events on January 6th and they were rude to Mitt Romney. So stuff like that, is very, very dangerous. And it makes me conclude, and actually first read this on Vox Day's blog. He stated that this will allow foreign big tech companies to eventually take over. And also, when it comes to other aspects, such as payment processors, foreign competition is going to take over. I thought that was a bit crazy listening to that a few years ago. Now I'm convinced that's going to happen. And if you want to look at a glimpse of what's going on with foreign competition, look at Telegram. Telegram is a Russian-based social media platform, right? So a lot of right-wingers have decided to go on Telegram. And the thing is that their app right now is one of the highest apps that are downloaded in the past few weeks. It's more than Facebook. It's even more than Signal, last time I checked. So that being said, okay, you have already foreign-based companies like Telegram taking over. And obviously big tech is going to put up a fight. Big government's going to put up a fight. I wouldn't be surprised that if it comes off of Google or Android Play Store in the coming months or coming years. Because anything that's a threat to big tech, they'll try to go after. But I don't think they'll be successful. And, looking at our society, how it's going, right? There's a shift from a free market society, even though it's not truly free market right now. It's going to move towards a, more of a centralized form of government. And also, they're going to try to collude with big business. But, at that time, all these leftists are going to call for the breakup of these big companies by that time. And it's not me saying it. It's just looking at different individuals from different perspectives, or who have different perspectives. For instance, Avi Gilbert that I follow, he's calling for a socialist wave for at least a few decades. He thinks that it's going to top out the free market, not bubble, but, this free market cycle should end within maybe 2 to 4 years. Martin Armstrong indicates that, we're going to see craziness continue on, probably until 2024, where the stock market keeps on going higher. You're not going to see it go up in a straight line, but, that's what we're looking at. And, look at Congress, how chaotic they're acting. Look at the way the media is acting. The media gets crazier and crazier year after year. And the way that companies are run, it's run with a leftist ideology now. Cancel culture is disastrous, and it will continue. It's just begun. I've noticed it in sports. I follow Clay Travis, and he's been pinpointing this for the past few years, or he's been highlighting this for the past few years. So, we have a situation where big tech is probably getting bullied by big government, and they're doing all the censoring and deplatforming, and also to get advertisements on their platforms. But looking at the demographics of the United States, where all the boomers are probably going to die off in the next 10 to 15 years. Add in the fact that we have Congress acting really crazy. It just makes sense that big tech will lose its market share. They're going to be more and more authoritarian. And, cancel culture is going to, in my opinion, wreck these companies, which then creates a way for these companies outside the United States. We're always, like I said, we're already seeing it with Telegram, to come in and dominate big tech. Even the payment processors, like I mentioned. We're probably going to see other countries from, Russia and China dominate this specter. We're going to be in for a hell of a ride these next 15 years. And, we're just losing power as a nation. As you can see, the country is becoming more and more balkanized. And the media is not helping out at all. And, they have their boogeymans. Donald Trump is the boogeyman, right? Regardless of whether you agree with them or not. They want to make them this crazy Russian asset that incited this riot. So, that's where we're at as a country, unfortunately. And I expect more foreign competition ultimately to destroy big tech. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.